one of those three, then they can ask you to do the statement of a statement of profit and loss from the general ledger that you have already done. You understand? And then after that, they can ask you prepare the statement of changes in equity, and those amounts to take it from your profit and loss and the general ledger that you have done. And then they can also say, lastly, they can say statement of financial position, which is from all the other questions that you've answered prior to that question. You understand? And guys, please do not forget to study your theory. Theory is always going to be in your text, especially test 1. Got 15 marks, 10 marks, and those are 3 marks, and you guys should just take the opportunity to grab all those 3 marks. You understand? So without further ado, let's get into this question. So as you can see, the following balances appear in the ledger of DeVet Traders, an entity which started business on the 1st of July 2008. So what we can deduce from these balances, they basically have already done the general ledger, they've already done the journals, they've already done the accounting equation. Now they basically give us the balances in which we have to know which accounts and amounts are we going to use for the separate financial statements. So in terms of the statement of profit and loss, statement of profit and loss, it literally is in the name. It's in the name, guys. Statement of profit and loss. So all your profit and all your losses will go into your statement of profit and loss. Do you understand? And then changes in equity, it's also in the name. So all your equity accounts, including your profit from the statement of profit and loss, will go into statement of changes in equity. And then lastly, statement of financial position. That talks about, it basically consists of all your assets, all your liabilities, all your equities. That is essentially your statement of financial position. Without further ado, apologies guys, this question was supposed to be done in class today, but since we had to cancel it, we'll just improvise, so we can just highlight the amounts that we need here. It's gonna be possible. Let's see if I can have it draw. Yeah, it's draw. Let's try to draw. So let's start. So in this case, we're doing the statement of profit and loss. So the first thing we think on the profit and loss is, do we have any profits in these balances? With capital, which is equity, land and buildings, which is assets, furniture, which is assets, drawings, which is equity, bank, which is assets, purchases, which is basically expenses. So that's the first thing we can highlight here. So this is going to be one of the accounts in the statement of profit and loss. Everyone can see my screen? Let me see. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please raise your hand or type in the chat box. I will okay, let me see that. We have, yes, okay, thank you. Let's continue. I will answer as soon as I can. And then with purchases will be our first account in the statement of profit and loss. We have sales, which is also going to be in our profit and loss. With rent of equipment, which is also considered as an expense. We have commission income, which is considered as an income. And we have freight out. Freight out is basically transport expenses that we have incurred. It's a transport expense that we've incurred. So that's also going to be part of our statement of profit and loss. And then we have receivable M. Receivables is a what? It's an asset, guys. Receivables V VOS is also an asset. Payable B person is also it is a liability. Okay. So now we know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts that affect our statement of profit and loss. At this point, you can start doing your statement of profit and loss, or you can continue and start highlighting for the other accounts which will affect your statement of change in equity or your statement of changes or statement of financial position. But in this case, let's start with uh statement of profit and loss. Let's see. Okay, it's not gonna work. So in this case, apologies. To remove this ruler. I don't know this ruler, but okay, it's fine. So we'll go into the statement of profit and loss. So in the statement of profit and loss, our income that we can derive from what we have here, what we can see, which is our income here, is our sales. We have made sales. So that's an income. It's basically, no, it's a revenue. Yes. Because the skeleton of a statement of profit and loss is your revenue less your cost of sales, which will give you gross profit. After giving you gross profit, you take any income. And after any income, you list that by any expenses. After listing by any expenses, then you will have a you have a net profit, essentially. You have a net profit. So let's see how the answer looks here. So as you can see, this is the sales that we had. Let me make this a bit big. This is the sales that we had. That's the sales of 14,453. And you have cost of sales, which is other purchases, because this is cost of sales. This purchases is trading stock that we have bought, and that's a cost of sales. It's you have sales and you have cost of sales. Cost of sales is the money we spent to buy our trading stock or buy our merchandise for our business. So that is your cost of sales. It's in brackets to show that we have to deduct it. It basically shows that it's a minus. It's 14,453 minus 8,591, which will give us a gross profit of I can use this. A gross profit of 5,862. After that, that's when you have to include any of your income. So here we can see that we have a commission income of 1,076 rand. So that's where we have to include 1,076 there. It's not in brackets because we have to. It's not a loss. It's not a deducting amount. We have to add it to our statement of profit and loss. It's income. We're getting money into the business, so we include it. And there we go. Now we have another total 6,938. And then from there, what we are left with, because now we can tick this off. We can tick this off. We can also tick this off. What we are left with is rent of equipment and freight out. Rent of equipment is an expense. So under the expenses, we're going to have a rent equipment of 480. Rent equipment of 480, we can take it out. And then you're going to freight out. Freight out is essentially transport. So it's basically, let's say we sell t-shirts and now we have to, we basically a factory, we sell t-shirts. Now we have to transport the t-shirts that we are selling to, I don't know, Mr. Price. So that's freight out. It's transport expenses that we incur when we are selling our merchandise or our inventory, our trading stock. That's what is freight out. It's basically transport expenses. So this we also have to take it out because it's under expenses. After that, you could see that it's 480 plus 90, which gives us 570. This is the total expenses that we have. And we have to put it in brackets. We put it in brackets to show that we're minusing this 570 from this 6938. And guys, please, when you guys writing your tests or your exams or anything that you have to write in UJ, you have to write in pen, guys. Pencil, they don't mark any pencil. They only mark in pen. Any pencil calculations, any pencil answers, they don't mark it. You understand, guys? Normally in high school where you can make versus pencil, you can have your calculations in pencil. They won't regard your calculations because they also do give marks for calculations. So let's just say you don't have the right answer and you wrote your calculations in pencil. They won't mark it. You just lost out on marks. Let's say your answer's wrong, but your calculations, you have calculations, some sort of calculations. They can mark it if it's in pen, but if it's not in pen, they won't mark it, guys. I hope everyone understands where we are right now. If anyone has any questions, please do say, guys. So, and then we have our profit for the year. We have it here, 6368. 6368. And then we have to go into the statement of changes in equity. Because we can't go into the statement of changes in equity without starting with the statement of profit or loss. So I can just write it down here. So statement of change in equity is quite simple. It's a very short financial statement. So we always want to have a balance. I'm just say balance. If they don't give you a balance at the beginning of the year, then it's fine. Then we don't have a balance at the beginning of the year. But I'm just giving you guys the full skeleton. Right. I don't have my mouse currently, guys, so you just have to bear with me. At the beginning of the year. Hold on. Okay. And then we're gonna have our capital. After having our capital, we're gonna have profit. We have prof. After prof, we're gonna have drawings because it falls under equity. I have draw. After drawings, then we're going to have balance at the end. We have bell at end. So this is how a statement of changes in equity looks. This is basically the line items you guys gonna have in your statement of changes in equity. I think next year that's when I start introducing dividends, or if not next year, maybe in second semester or later in the semester. When you have to have dividends, obviously you're gonna have a dividends line item somewhere here. But okay, since we know these are the line item under statement of changes in equity, we can go back to this. So here, my highlighter. So now we're gonna do, let's pick purple. Statement of changes in equity. So now we're looking for any equity equity account. So we know that equity, we can see that, okay, payable is not, that's a liability. Receivables is an asset. Bank is an asset. Drawings is an equity. So that's when we can have drawings, yeah? Okay, now this is too dark. Let me erase this. So we have drawings as an equity. And then once we can see furniture, that's an asset. Land and buildings, an asset. And then we have capital. That's also an equity. So we can see, okay, we went through all our general ledger balances, and what can we see? We can see we only have two changes of equity line items. Most of the times, it's most of the times is just only these two, but maybe there is might be more, but most of the times is only two. Standard change of equity is sweet. It's sweet. It's short. Yeah. So now we can take these amounts. So we have 18,310, which is our capital. We have 18,310. There's no balance in the beginning, so you can just, or you can have just a zero, but you can just have a dash. So we have capital of 18,310. So 18,
we can see
10. Yeah, 8.
we can see.
Let me just erase this.
We can see.
18,310. And then we have profit for the year, which we do have here, which is 6,
He can't hear us.
3, 6, 8. So that's our profit. You understand? And this profit will be, when we want to add it. And then we have drawings. Drawings, remember, it takes out money from the business. So it decreases the equity that we have in the business. So if it decreases the equity that we have in the business, okay, let's just do this. Let's put it down 2091. So we have 2091. So now I'm gonna ask a question for the for the drawings. Chat box. We're still looking at the statement of profit and loss. My screen shows the answers for SPL. Can you guys see what I'm writing on this statement of, okay, let me do this, it's fine. No, okay, thank you. Do this. Sorry for that, guys. Can you guys see what I've written here? The balance at the beginning, next to it I have a dash. The cap, which is capital, it's 18,310. The profit is profit 6,368. And drawings is 2091, and then the balance at the end. Can everyone see? Okay, yes. Thank you. Sorry for that. So now my question is, in terms of the drawings, do we put brackets or do we not put brackets? Also with the profits, do we put brackets? Do we not put brackets? And the capital, do we put brackets or no brackets? If you can just put it in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand and unmute your mic. For these three amounts, do we put brackets for one of them or two of them or none of them? Or do we not put brackets for any of them? Can anyone please answer?
Hello. Hello.
Yebo, you can unmute your mic. Is it my
Yes.
mic? Oh,
For
sorry
the
about
drawings
that.
to put brackets.
Okay.
Then the profit and the capital, no brackets.
Okay. And then you just work out your balance at the end.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can meet again. So if we're going to put brackets for this 2091, that means that we are basically subtracting from the 18,310 plus the 6,000 plus the 6,368 minus the 2091. So that will give us an answer of 18,310, 6,368 minus 2,091. Give us an answer of 22,587, which is this here. 22,587. This is how it should look. That's how your statement of changes in equity looks. Okay, so the balance is actually the capital, which they give us to us. So you have your balance, which is the capital, 18,310. Profit for the year, 6,368. And drawings in brackets, 2091. Please, guys, put it in brackets. They will mark it wrong if you guys don't put it in brackets. So brackets are essential. Don't put a minus, put a bracket to show that you guys know what you guys are doing. It's no more what's this high school where you put a minus. Now you have to put in brackets. So that's your statement of changes in equity. So once you're done with these two statements, and then that's when you can go into your statement of financial position. So your statement of financial position, we can go back to these balances, which is basically your general ledger accounts. All these balances are from your general ledger accounts or it's general ledger accounts actually. So now we can see what we are left with. We got different color highlighter. So land and buildings is an asset. We have furniture, which is also an asset. We have bank debited is 875. It means debited to show that we have a positive balance in our bank accounts. We don't basically we're not in overdraft. You understand? We have a positive bank account. It's in our bank. I'm gonna ask a question regarding if it has CR, and then we have receivables, which is an asset. We have a receivables, which is also an asset, and we have payable, which is also an asset. So my question is, guys, if it says bank CR, which means credit, how will we treat this? Will it which account will it fall under? Will it fall under assets? Will it fall under equities? Will it fall under liabilities? If this was CR instead of DR, which account will it fall under? Assets, equity, or liabilities? liabilities. Thank you for that. And you are correct. If it did say bank credits, it means that we basically in overdraft. We basically owe the bank that 875 if it had bank CR. So in this case, now we can continue with our statement of financial position. So now our statement of financial position, you will have, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you're going to have non-current assets, which is the land and buildings and the furniture. Land, buildings, and furniture. You have 18,900. And you also have your furniture, which is a 2761. These are non-current assets, and you'll have a total. Total somewhere here. Then you will have your current assets. Current assets, which is going to be your receivables. Oh, this is actually a pay. This is actually a liability. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me just erase. Why is my reason not working? It's not working, but let's just put it in that it's fine. This is a liability, guys. Payables are a liability. Sorry about that. It just doesn't want to erase. But whatever, let's get back to it. So with our current assets, we will have. Sorry, can you please mute your mic? So we will have receivables, trade and other receivables, and plus these two amounts. You have your 111 plus 48, which is plus 48, which is 159 and 59. So that's your trade and other receivables. And then you also have bank, but we don't call it bank in our statement of financial position. We call it as cash and other equivalents, or the cash and cash equivalents. Yeah, it's cash and cash equivalents, but I'll just write it as cash here. And it's going to be our 875. And you plus these two together to give you your total for your current assets. Your total for your current assets here, and then plus your non-current assets plus your current assets, which will give you total assets, and then they'll give you this balance here for this plus this, which will give you this. And this is your top half of your statement of financial position. Then you have to go into your total, you have to go into equities and liabilities. So for your equities and liabilities, you have to write down equity and liability. I know, guys, I'm just writing the letters, but we don't have enough space. And then you have your equity. Equity, you find this amount from your statement of changes in equity. It's this amount. So you write that down. It's your 22,587. 587. 22,587 for your equities. All right. And then you'll go into your liabilities. Liabilities is the same as your assets. You have your non-current liabilities, and write down your non-current liabilities. And you have your current liabilities, and you write down your current liabilities. In this case, we don't have any non-current liabilities. Non-current liabilities are your loans, your long-term loans. They're called long-term borrowings. So in terms of loans, depreciation, accrued expense, accrued income, prepaid expenses, and income received in advance, we'll deal with that in the following class. This class is just the basics of the statement of profit and loss, and we'll go into harder general ledgers. And someone has their hand up.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
But it is not balancing.
I know, so but we still have to do the equities and liabilities.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm saying we'll still have to do the equities and liabilities. It will balance after.
What about the statement of changes in equity?
This is the statement of changes in equity. Okay, well, can you just ask me your question again? Maybe I'm not understanding what you're asking.
Yes, I don't understand what happened here
Where?
in the statement of changes in equity.
Okay, what don't you understand?
Like, okay, the balance at the end. What does it mean? What is it for?
So the balance at the end, this amount, will take this amount to the statement of financial position. It's our equity
Okay.
in the statement of financial position. So let me just show you. So this is the statement of financial position. This 22587 is from the statement of changes in equity.
For the capital only.
It's for your equity. Capital falls under equity.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So, okay, let me just go into the how many. So obviously then we have our equity, which is our capital. Capital falls under equity. I just put it in short because we didn't have space here. But capital falls under equity. And that is our 22587. It's from our statement of changes in equity. Then, like I said, there's no non-current liabilities. Usually the non-current liabilities line item, and you have your long-term borrowings, which is your loan, but there's no loan. It's just your current liabilities, which is your payables that we have from here. There's our payables, which is our liability. And once you have this 22,587 plus this 108, which will give you 22,695. And this equals our total assets. And once our total assets is equal to our total equity and liability, that's when you are done. Even if this doesn't balance, guys, please have a total, because there is still, what do you guys call it, carry down marks or method marks. There are still method marks in university. So please, if you guys don't have a balance or don't have a total, please total your assets or whatever. Please total all of this. Have a total for both. Even if it doesn't balance, at least you have a balance. You have a total, and they'll give you your mark, your method marks or your carry down marks. I don't know what you guys call it, but yeah. And then this is essentially it. This is your statement of financial position. Everything comes from ledgers, your ledger totals or balances, and you jot them down into your statement of profit and loss. After that, it goes into your statement of change in equity. After that, you do your statement of financial position, and you are done. That's the question. And next week we will go into this question. I'm also going to add some income received in advance, prepaid expenses. I'm going to add there's already a loan, but I want to ask you guys to do some ledgers. I want to make it a bit more harder so you guys can I don't know, challenge yourselves a bit, and I want to see if you guys actually understand what you guys are doing in class and obviously attending these online sessions. So please, next lesson, please come prepared. You might get things right, you might get things wrong, but you just have to try. And for now, we're just trying. For now, you're not wrong. You're just trying. In the test, yes, you'll be wrong if you're wrong. But for now, you're just trying and see if you guys are right. Like, you only can get distinctions if you basically get things wrong when you're practicing. Once you're getting things wrong in your practicing, you know you get it right in your tests. So there's nothing wrong getting things wrong now. You get it right in the test. If you get it wrong now, it's fine. So that's today's lessons, guys. Thank you guys for coming. Next lesson, I will touch up on the accrued expenses, prepaid, and I'm not sure if I'm going to bad debts. Probably bad debts too. And then depreciation, we'll have a separate class for depreciation, because depreciation, it's a bit complicated for those who have not done accounting in high school, and if those had also done accounting in high school, it's still is a bit complicated. But I'll dedicate a separate session for that, and then I'll make sure you guys understand depreciation, because it's not that hard if you just sit down and look at what they're asking you guys. So guys, that's it for today, and we'll have our next session, and I'll communicate when is that. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming today. We'll meet again.